At Rand McNally, we understand that there are different types of receiving methods for instruction, such as classroom, small groups, and independent study time in the class or at home. There are also many different ways to use technology for instruction, such as projectors, laptops, tablets, and other handheld devices. So we wanted to show you how World Atlas can be used as a resource in many of these capacities. Let's now begin a quick demonstration of how World Atlas can easily and seamlessly be integrated into your classroom and curriculum. Today's subject will be modern world history. Our audience is 10th graders, and our topic is World War I. Our lesson is titled How Austria and Serbia Kick-Started the Great War, or as I like to call it, How Austria and Serbia Are to Blame. My goal is to show you how World Atlas maps and illustration tools are not only going to help and enhance your teacher's lessons, but how it can also give a visual, historical perspective across all subject areas. Today, however, we're going to focus on Europe and how it changed between the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in 1914 to the Western Front in 1918. To begin the lesson, teachers and students will discuss how the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria in 1914 by a Serbian fanatic in Sarajevo started the war between Austria and Serbia. After discussing the cause of World War I, I've chosen a mapping exercise for the students to allow for evaluation and assessment. As you can see, I created this map prior to my lesson. The students can use this worksheet for drawing and labeling European countries. As the lesson continues and we discuss the Allied and Central Powers, the students can use this same customized map to illustrate which countries were allies and which ones were enemies. From the Share section, I can choose to either print off a map, download it to my desktop, or share the URL link with students via email. One of the great features of World Atlas is that it allows for flexibility of teaching styles. It can be used as whole classroom, individual study, or as a research tool. Teachers and students can combine maps and layers, add annotation, collaborate, and share with other teachers and students. Okay, now back to our lesson. I want to show the students how the war spread throughout Europe. To do this, I'm going to use the drawing tools and choose a circle to mark the areas of war. So, Austria has now declared war on Serbia. And after all, a war between Austria and Serbia meant a war between Austria and Russia, which of course led to a war between Russia and Germany, and that meant a war between Germany and France, and that meant a war between Germany and Great Britain. As you can see, this drawing tool was a great one to use to illustrate how Europe was literally exploding into all-out war. From here, the teacher will save this map shot of Europe, exploding into chaos, to save and to share with others. So now that the students are familiar with how it all began, let's take a quick look at German, French, and Russian troop movement. For this part of the lesson, we are going to view current and historical European maps. This map layer shows Europe from 1922 to 1940. I will now use my drawing tools again to illustrate the first German troop movement into Belgium on August 4th, 1914. I can then explain how France thought Germany's movement into Belgium was a ruse, and therefore they sent troops to the Alsace and Lorraine provinces instead. Then there is the Eastern Front, which we will utilize with a different map layer showing 1914. Here at the Eastern Front, we can illustrate Russia moving troops towards Germany at the Battle of Tannenberg. Of course, by then, Germany then broke their troops located in Belgium into two groups to attack Paris from the north. I'm going to go back to the previous map we used to better illustrate the next section. You can drop a pin using our illustration tools to mark where the Battle of Marne was, as well as label it and write a brief description. And we can also do this for the Battle of Verdun. Now let's take a quick look at how World Atlas can expand upon and enrich your lessons. We just mentioned how all-out war was taking place, so let's go explore Europe and one of its countries involved in the Great War by using Map Explorer. Let's explore Austria first, since they were the first to declare war. Here, the students can learn about Austria's economy, its people, and its rich history. We can also look at maps from different time periods within Tools section. Here you will find a collection of maps that are found in all Rand McNally education atlases, such as what Europe looked like in 1914 and which nations were part of the Allied powers, and the Central Powers, and neutral nations. And as I always like to tell my children when they're arguing over something, that I'm like Switzerland, I'm neutral and not taking sides. Switzerland was able to maintain its neutrality throughout the war. Another map that can be utilized to illustrate this is the Western Front in 1918. By viewing this map, the students will be able to see the battle line in 1918. We can then discuss how that line was battled and moved back and forth for years. If you choose to spend more time on the Western Front, you can download it and save it to your desktop for later use. And that concludes the lesson portion for today. Now for some highlights. World Atlas is accessible from the classroom or from home on all major platforms and web browsers. All you need is an internet connection. It makes history come alive by accessing historical maps from around the world. It allows you to show the reach of kingdoms and empires from thousands of years ago and to demonstrate how boundaries have changed over time. And unlike other digital tools, World Atlas doesn't require hours of training. Our simple user interface and integrated help content make it so easy to use. Simply log in and start teaching. And all of our content is aligned to state and Common Core standards. Our comprehensive search tool enables you to easily find content and lessons that meet your needs. By using World Atlas, teachers are creating a curriculum continuum between grade levels that will help students to understand the past, navigate the present, and shape the future. And that concludes our lesson for today.